Hello all, welcome to the presentation and introduction to Domino for all those that don't know what Domino is or what are the capabilities of the platform. That's why I created this little presentation to give more information about what can be done with Domino and why you should install it into your company. So first of all, the first question is what is HCL Domino? Well, HCL Domino is an application server that can be used for many types of business applications. It's your foundation of a complete collaboration solution. And further on in the presentation, you will see why. Why? Because it's an all-in-one platform for lightweight, low-code, and fast time-to-value applications. So all types of applications can be developed, can be used, and can be created on your Domino platform. It's not only a server; it's a complete platform. So there is also a client involved with it, and it's called the Nodes client. So what is it? Well, the Nodes client is a rich client that can be used for the end users, and it consists also of a designer client to you you name it, it's to there to design your applications. And then you also have an administrator client who is used to administer your Domino environment. Nodes itself is a database that consists of data and the data that is used within your applications. It's out of the box secure, and it's secure through an access control list so that you can tell to Domino who has access and who can do what within your application. Nodes can be accessed from virtually anywhere if you want to access your information. So, and if I say from everywhere, well, you can use your browsers, you can use mobile clients, and you can use the rich clients. So then the Nomad client there is there to allow access from the mobile devices. So what is the Nomad? I said it already. It's the mobile client so that you can use your existing Domino applications or new Domino applications from, for instance, like you can see here on an iPad, but you can also use it on your iPhone or on your Android phone. And in near future, you will be able to use Nomad in a web browser with all the same functionalities as you can use it in the rich clients. So you can have your local encryption and you can have local replication. So I heard also some people asking me, well, Chris, wasn't it also for email? Well, yeah, email is one of the many applications that you can run on Domino. And you can use it if you will need to send out some notifications within a workflow of your application, for instance. You've heard already talking about NoSQL, right? Well, Nodes Domino is in fact NoSQL 1.0. The Nodes NSF file, the Nodes storage facility file, is one of the pioneering NoSQL applications. So the DNSF file is a document-based NoSQL implementation. So if everybody's talking now about NoSQL, yeah, right. 30 years ago, we used it already in the context of a Domino server. So what are the benefits of NoSQL? Well, it enables agile development methodologies. In Domino terms, we just call it RAD, Rapid Application Development. A new iteration of an application doesn't require a whole rebuild of the data scheme. No, you can leave your database over there and then start working on a new database design, and afterwards you can replace it. So if you want to see it in a sort of a scheme, well, this is the scheme. So there you have your Domino database, the NSF file, which has an incredible architecture. So you can see at the bottom there you have your data, and your data is stored in the NSF file. On top of that, you can create an index, and then you have your design. So the design is only a part of your application in the NSF. So you also have your properties, and then you have the access control list. So if you want to create a new design for your application, well, you can tear out the design, you put it in an NTF file, you start developing on a new design, and when everything is finished and tested out, you replace only the design part in your NSF. So there is no data migration ever needed if you want to have a new design or an enhanced design of your application. This is incredible, no? Oh, also to mention, backwards compatibility with all versions. So if we talk about Domino and what is Domino, well, it's a very scalable platform. It can run on-premise, it can run virtualized or containerized. So if you can run it virtualized or containerized, well, this means that you can also run it in a hosting environment. So for instance, in our hosting environment, okay? Secure. So built in, you have your security and it's based on certificates in ID files. ID files are used by clients to access the Domino server. Or if you want to put in security in your applications, then you can have your access control list on the database and you can have it until field level in your documents stored in the databases. It's incredible flexible because you can run it on different platforms, like for instance Windows, Linux, IBM I, so very flexible. And it's open, open to all kinds of standards. So you can use web services, you can use APIs, you can use the new feature Domino query language, you can have Node.js, you can use whatever new features to create a UI, etc. And it's reliable. So it have self-healing processes. Like for instance, if your router tasks crashed, well, the Domino server will attempt to restart the Domino router itself. You can use clustering. Well, clustering is just saying, well, you create an extra Domino server, you put them in a cluster, and in the backend, everything will be done for you. And you also have some database maintenance tasks that can be scheduled on your Domino server so that your databases stay healthy on your Domino server. So I said already, I talked about Agile for the NoSQL. Within the Domino environment, we talk about Rapid Application Development or RAD. So you see the customer is thinking about, well, it would be interesting to have a kind of application that can do this, this, and this. Well, we start developing, we show it to the customer, they test it out, and the customer is happy. But once he has his application, he starts thinking about other new features, and the circle is around. We just continue to do the application development within the application. As I explained already, with the NSF part, you have the NTF, the small design part, which is in your application that we can easily replace in the existing application. If you're not using Domino, well, then you have this kind of environment maybe running in your organization. You have a file server, you have an application server with some business logic, you have a directory server, you have a database server, you have a mail server, and then maybe you also have an Apache server, so an HTTP server to serve your applications to browsers. Uh, in that case, IT probably faces some issues. You have multiple teams that has to manage different parts of the stack, and maybe not everybody is aware of all the bits and bytes of the parts of the IT environment. You have to coordinate the effort between those teams when changes are required. And every time an update is applied, IT needs to go through the same process. So there is a lot going on over there. If you have a Domino server running into your organization, well, you have just one stack, HCL Domino, and on your Domino server you have a directory server, you have an HTTP server, you have a mail server, you have a database server, you have your business logic for your applications, and you can put files on it or within your application. And this all is running on only one server, your HCL Domino server. Well, you can cluster it also if you want to make sure that your applications are running continuously. So why should you use Domino? Domino versus you name it. There are a lot of competitors here in the world. Well, within Domino, you can have a better workflow capabilities without the need for third-party solutions because everything, like I said already, everything is in one platform, your Domino server. You have the best security in the market based on the PKI infrastructure that is on your Domino server. And within V12, it will be much more easier also to install your SSL certificates on it. There is a lower administration overhead because there is a lot of self-healing processes and database maintenance tasks that are running on your Domino server. I saw already Domino servers running for a few months without interruption, so no issues there. It requires less skilled application development teams. So as long as those guys know how to do Lotus script, which is based on JavaScript, or as long as they see there is certain logic in it, well, they can start developing applications on your Domino server. It's the most secure and flexible messaging platform in the market. I haven't seen already a virus slinking in Nodes or Domino. Never. I never saw it already. So it's not like with other vendors where you have all the time those issues. It's a faster time to build a solution compared to others. So we won already an application development against other competitors because we could deliver much more faster and for a price that was 7 times cheaper than with all the rest. So it doesn't require an expensive SQL license to run an app because we are based on the NSF databases that are incorporated in Domino and that you create yourself. So if you want to compare NoSQL databases versus Domino, well, Domino was the original NoSQL database already. Replication and clustering is built in, so you can you can replicate an application to your client offline so that you can start working offline. Or if you want a very fast experience with your application from your client without having the connection to the Domino server. There is a strong security model and access controls. Like I said already with the access control list, you can have different levels of security on your application until field level that you can specify who can do what with a field, for instance. So in short, there is a Domino portfolio roadmap that I started designing out from 2018. Why 2018? That's the moment that HCL came into the picture and they started to develop on Domino V10. The last version of Domino before that HCL was involved was V9, and V9 has been developed in 2013. So there was a huge gap between the versions. So since HCL is in charge, in 2018 they developed Domino V10. Uh, there was not much going on over there, but there were a lot of improvements in the backend of the Domino version. In 2019 they came up with version 11. There were a lot of new features in there and a lot of enhancements. And then in 2020 they had V1101. And this year we will have Domino V12. So the cadence will be that every year we will have a main version. So they are talking already about V13, V14, etc. So for all those that were thinking the Domino is dead, well, reconsider your thoughts and look at this presentation. If you still have any questions about what can be done with the platform, or how can GroupWave help you out, or I have an interesting question about the developing of an application. Well, just contact me, and I will be happy to give you much more details about the possibilities of Domino. Thank you very much. Bye bye.